Okay, I want to be really respectful with our time and respectful to Brenda. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I wanted to tell you guys how excited I am about having Brenda get on the call. So you need to know this. First of all, if you're not currently following Brenda on Instagram, Brenda, I'll have to like hop on Instagram to remember your name, but I know you can tell them you need to be following her just because it's been a fun ride. I have trained under Brenda for a long time, and so has Andrea. She has previously been a part of our Jewel training program. She's done a lot of speaking and teaching for Plexus and Plexus Corporate. Thank you, Brenda, or thanks, Tina Marie. She's got a long history with Plexus and a fabulous story. But what I love is when I see a leader who's already done a lot of great things with our company, like go through another leveling up phase. That's my favorite thing. And that's really been what's happening for Brenda. Let me just be clear. It's not like she ever stepped back from her business. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's that she took an evolving business and really grew it in new ways. She's been on the leaderboard frequently, especially of late. I want her to be able to tell you how many new followers she's gotten on Instagram this fall, just since Mexico. So I don't want to steal any of her thunder. But I also want you to know, like, if you're someone who one of your core values is family, and if that's one of your main reasons for getting involved in Plexus, then I can't think of someone whose story I want you to hear more than Brenda Martin's, because this is truly not only just one of her values, but it's her family's value is family. They do it together. And I want you to hear from her how that works, what it looks like. And I honestly just want you to be inspired by a mom whose faith and care for her family has not wavered, has probably grown, even as she's been able to grow a really large business with Plexus. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our friend Brenda, and I'm excited to hear from her today.
Well, first of all, I'm sitting here thinking I want to be like Becky when I grew up and be so well spoken. I mean, you just said so many things so well, and then you made me choke up. So I'm like, how am I even going to talk now? But appreciate that, Becky. It's been a privilege to get to know you and Andrea. And all the faces I'm seeing here, so many of them are familiar to me, and that's what we love about Plexus. When you speak of family, I often think of Plexus because it's like our second family, really. Well, Becky said she would like for me to share a little bit of how I got into Plexus, a little bit of briefly my story for those of you who haven't heard that, and then my recent kind of crazy monster that I grew. That's how I like to call it, because it came out of nowhere that I wasn't expecting, but there's a reason why. But real quick, she asked me to share what happened recently. I started sharing on Instagram more consistently. I'll get into that later. And I grew from less than 3,000 before Mexico to, I think, at 72. I don't know if it was 72 point something. So I don't think I'm quite at 73, but it's kind of fun tracking. 72K. And that, like I said, it's like a monster I created because I just did something to put myself out there, to do something scary and see what would happen. I didn't expect that at all. So we'll get back to that story later. But how my Plexus story was, at the time that it came into my life, we were looking at possibly losing our farm. Our business that my husband was doing from home had been doing really well in previous years. And then with the recession in 2008, we went through a lot of rough times. We actually lost money by someone not coming through for us at one point. Another whole story, but just a lot of kind of several things in a row that got us to a bad point where we were in debt and struggling to pay the bills with our large family. And honestly, the main thing that I didn't mind struggling. Like, that's all I ever knew growing up. My mom and dad were always in debt. We had to sell a cow if we wanted to go on a trip. I mean, that was life. That part wasn't, I don't think, what bothered me as much as future. I looked at our 8 sons and thinking, is it always just going to be this way? Are we going to just pass on debt to them? Are they just always going to have that burden to live under and never be able to help them achieve any of their dreams? Like, that's what bothered me. I just wanted a better future. So obviously when Plexus came along, that future just looked more clear. Like, it's like, oh, this is what we've been praying for. Because we had been crying, literally tears for me most nights over this situation, praying to the Lord for an answer for our future. So when something that clear comes, that's kind of that obvious that I could actually do this and that it's actually being done right, of course we went for all in. So I always want people to know that's the part of our story that I love the products. They changed my life. I was exhausted. It brought me out of that pit. I had energy again, but I was sharing with friends before I even had those results because I saw the value of the products. So I knew I had products that would work. If I could just build this as a business, that was the thing that could just change so much for us. And so we went all in. That's the part I want people to understand my story when they're like, oh, you went diamond in such and such a time. And oh, your husband went diamond. And I'm like, yeah, because we were all in, non-negotiable. I mean, it was part of our life. We worked it in to our schedule. We didn't not have time because it wasn't an option. We made time. We made it like our primary business and focus. We're still homeschooling. We're still doing other business, but this was first and foremost what we put our time and energy into. And that's, I know, entirely why we were able to do what we did. Besides the fact that it was obviously a direction from the Lord. And so we always felt confident in what we were doing. People couldn't stop us because we knew we were doing what we were supposed to do. Okay, so to my more recent story. So I've been blessed to have a double diamond household income, steady, winning all the trips, the prizes, most of the contests for all these 10 years. Why couldn't I just be content? Why not? It's good enough. I mean, we reached so many of our financial goals. We have financial investments. We have our future so well set up for us. Why not just sit back and enjoy? I'm a grandma now. I feel like a grandma. I don't want to have to raise kids again. And I was at that point in my business where I was contemplating. I felt like I was at a crossroads. Like, do I just sit back and be the grandma that enjoys my grandchildren, just love on my team, and, you know, keep, of course, doing some things to maintain my business, still keep sharing, but not like doing anything extra? Because like I said, when you're a grandma, you just don't feel like raising a whole nother family. Like, that's sort of the mentality I was at. And I was using that for an excuse. And I was somewhat settling. But I guess I'm the type of person that can settle for only so long. After a while, I'm like, this is just kind of nuts. Like, if I can do more, why not do more? It's just not good enough. Isn't always good enough for me. If there's more people to reach, I truly want to help more mamas. Like, I hadn't developed a jewel in a while on our team. And that's what kind of really got to my heart. Like, there's more people who want this. I can go develop more jewels. I want to help more families achieve what we've achieved. It felt selfish to settle, bottom line. So I decided, what can I do? Like, I feel like what I've been doing, you know, beating the dead horse over and over on Facebook, posting all the time, reaching out to people, doing my IPA, faithful, faithful, faithful. I've never really backed away from that all these times. And there have been times where it's been a much more lower amount per day. Sometimes I didn't do any, but overall, I continue to do that. I always brought 2 to 3 VIPs in every month. I mean, it was rare that I didn't hit my 3. But you can't just keep doing the same thing, expect the same results. So I knew I had to do something different, and I knew it was on Instagram. I just knew it. I didn't like it, but I knew it. I had a love-hate relationship with Instagram. It was like a whole new learning curve for this old dog. And, you know, it sometimes worked and it sometimes didn't. I had posted a reel a year ago that kind of did a viral thing. I think it was like 1.2 million watches. And that was sort of exciting. I got some followers and some conversations from that. But it scared me. Like, I don't want to have to do this all the time, like do reels like this and then get that many people following and watching. But I knew there was like a big harvest, field harvest, whatever, ready to harvest, a field ripe. There we go. Ready to harvest, but I wasn't doing anything about it. And so I had been, you know, hanging out over on Instagram and watching people enough to know reels were a big deal. And I messed around with them. I knew I could actually make one because I posted one every couple months or something, and they basically got a few views, you know. And I was saving reels all the time because I'm like, oh, this would be a good one. This is a good idea. So I had this huge long list of saved reels to do someday. So finally I decided I'm done. It was actually in Mexico talking to a lot of the other diamonds because a lot of us were kind of in that same point, like, you know what? We looked around at the diamonds that were at the diamond destination and we're like, there's not very many new ones. We got to do something about this. We as leaders have to make change if we expect change. And we all were talking about different things we could do as leaders to go home and make change and do something about this. And for me, I knew what it was. Every time I think about that, it's just like, I don't know, it's the Holy Spirit or what, saying Instagram. So I came home and decided, okay, fine, I can do a reel a day. Like, that's something I can commit to. I knew it was pushing me. It was scary, but like, whatever, let's see what happens. And honestly, guys, that's what I did. But there are some things about reels that I understood, thankfully, in the beginning that I think made the difference. Number one, they have to add value. They have to add value to people. And while I was scared of the niche, that had stressed me out for a couple of years after hearing that at Super Saturday and convention. It's why I didn't ever just go for it and do anything, because I didn't know what my niche was. I felt like my niche was so broad. And then I realized my niche is me, especially after hearing Amber Miller at convention last year. She said, nix the niche, but she wasn't really meaning nix it all together. She just meant don't stress about a super, super specific niche. Just be the niche. Share you. Instagram used to be all about, you know, the aesthetics and the perfect little pictures and perfect little lives. It's not anymore. People want the real and the raw. And so that's what you guys have to share. I had to be willing to be a little more vulnerable, because Instagram to me is super duper public, like way more than Facebook. And you have to have thick skin for all the negative comments if you are going to put yourself out there. But that's okay. These people are quite entertaining, by the way. So reels have to add value. And I knew that. And I knew my value add was a mom of many, and the things I've achieved, because I actually have fruits now to show that some things can actually work. And my heart was to just help families be strong and brave. Like, step outside of the norm, be willing to do what is right for your family in spite of all the other people maybe making fun of you, because we're used to that. We've grew the thick skin. We've been made fun of a lot our lives for a lot of the things we've been through. Our history has been full of stepping outside of what was the norm of how we were raised. And so I knew that that would be one of my value adds. And then, of course, just to inspire people that family can be fun, that you can enjoy your children, you can enjoy each other, you can enjoy your adult kids. So that, I knew that was just what I wanted to put out there. So I started throwing reels together about that. And then I pop in a Plexus reel about once a week, maybe twice during like a sale. I'll probably do it a little more often. And in fact, you guys, I did a quick, went through all my past customers since I'm on Instagram and looked through my messages, scrolled back to the very beginning to see how they came on board. And this morning I looked at it and I have, it's the highest percentage came in on reels. On my Plexus reels, or I call them Plexus reels, but you barely know it by watching it, because I don't want to make it like, I'm not like all the pink drinking on all that so much. I just post me walking around the house or doing something. On the cruise, I race Starla up the stairs and just put about my energy or how I feel better, and then comment a specific word below. And then I have it set up to an automatic message that they get, because I can't handle answering all those by hand. And the app that I use is called Many Chat. Many like lots, chat. And so you can just go in there and make your automatic message, go back to them. And then I kind of have it filter people out that way. So they answer one message, it pops up the next one. Okay, great. Here's the next question or whatever. So that by the time I only have to take care of the ones who want the link. Okay, does that make sense? So that's really cut down on my workload. But yeah, so adding value, keeping them short, reels, keeping reels short. I didn't write anything down, Becky and Andrea, so sorry if I get off track. Keep them short, because then people, well, part of it is they rewatch, but part of it, people's attention spans are so short. You do not make a 1 minute reel. I mean, you can, but don't expect a whole lot from it. That's one of my rules. I keep mine to it stresses me out if it goes over 10 seconds. But some of them I just can't quite work it all in 10 seconds. So I go as much as 15. But my ideal is between 5 and 10 seconds. It works. I get a lot more engagement, interaction, and views and shares. People share shorter videos too, I've noticed. So if you want to just get a feel or idea for some of that, if you have the time, go to my reels and just look at the views and see which, like the lengths and the, kind of get the feel of what for me has worked and what you would say is my niche based on my reels that get the most views and shares. I don't know, you probably can't see the shares, but So yeah, those are my two main points for reels. The two main things I focused on was just value, keeping them short and sweet and to the point. And then I knew why I was on Instagram. That's the other reason. I knew why I was doing this. When it started blowing up and I started going to like, I mean, 10K blew me away. Like 10K followers, are you kidding? This is like, makes me feel like an influencer or something. And then it went to 20 and 30. I'm like, what? And it kept going. Now I feel pressure to truly, like, I am some kind of Instagram person that should know all the things, and I don't. I'm still just doing what I did, and I know why I'm here. I'm getting tons of messages from people wanting me to do oh, what's the word? Promote their product, be on podcasts, do affiliate things, blah, blah, blah. And I ignore most of them. I have done a couple of podcasts. I have a couple more coming up because I feel like it's a value add. It can add to a homeschool or, community that I want to bless. But I haven't done any of the like links and shares because to me, that's a mixed message to my audience. I am planning to do a little bit more value add in terms of people can like, I'll put up a resource for homeschooling tips, chores, meals, menus, those little things that people are always asking for that I don't have time to send, and they can like click on something and get it. I'm going to do that type of thing. But I'm here, guys, to help families find freedom with Plexus, bottom line. And I know that's my mission, my focus. I'm not going to get distracted just because I have a huge following and could do other things. It is way more fun and way more sustainable and rewarding to do what we're doing than anything those influencers are doing, because I've heard from them, I've talked to them, and I know what it takes to do what they do. And this is way better. So that's my story.
I love it. And we're going to keep you on time today, because I know you've got big family stuff coming up at lunch. Okay. I have a really quick question. And by the way, while I'm asking, if you've got a question, be thinking of it. But Brenda, you made this decision in Mexico. You're sitting there with some diamonds and you're like, I know I've got to share a reel a day. Did you have any other training that came in at that time, or did you just zone in? Obviously you're still taking care of your team and all that, but did you just zone in, and how did you know what to do?
Oh, good question. So I was following, some other people like Rebecca Folks and Trisha Rager. Those are some of the ones I feel like I got the most tips from in terms of what I could do. Like they made it look doable, right? So I just thought, well, I can just take what they're doing and make it my own. Those are just the first two that come to mind right now. I'm sure there were others too. What's her name? Megan Ashman is really good. Emily Lothart, I love her stuff. She's so real and relatable. So those people kind of inspired me, but God blessed me with an amazing virtual assistant right before this happened. Like the timing could not have been better. So yes, I do all Instagram my own, but she has helped so much with behind the scenes, just like keeping everything else going for me while this blew up over here. I'm like, I'm kind of distracted with this. Can you take care of some other things for my team and that? So that's been a huge blessing. And she helps me with ManyChat. Oh goodness. I've been lost with some of that without her, but yeah, that was part of the story that God kind of had things planned out for me.
And here's my last personal question. Do your daughters help you take some of your video? Because I'll be watching. And by the way, like you're doing exactly what Trisha Rieger trained us in June when she said, I take 10-second videos of me doing something simple like folding laundry. I put trending audio and I put text that drives them to my caption. Like that's what she trained us on. And I see your stuff, but I'm like, who's filming her? Who has this great idea of, Brenda racing up the stairs on the cruise with her daughter? Like who's helping you with some of these? And do you ever just set it up on your table or something and film yourself?
Yeah, both. So my girls are my filmers when I need them to be. Starla especially, she loves it. Like she's just a natural, and so she'll gladly help me do any of that. In fact, she's like my CapCut, the app CapCut. She can run that thing like with her eyes closed because she's been practicing with her friend, because they're always making videos for back and forth to each other for cringe contests. And so she knows how to run that app. So she's helped me even with some of that. But for the most part, and I'll even like sometimes for the reels for the boys, I'll sit down and get ideas from them and how to word things and that. But no, I'm pretty much put all that together then otherwise. But yes, we set up the camera. I like to do time lapse of the family. Those are just really fun.
I love it. I love it. And I could tell, I was like, this has some teen daughter influence, which by the way, if you've got a teen daughter at home, like recruit them. They are your shareholders, okay. We're getting asked the app that you mentioned just now, CapCut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. That's simple. CAPCACUT. Another one I use that helps a lot with reels, because I pull a lot of old video and photos that were landscape or just square or something that don't fit into a reel very well. There's a good app called InShot, InShot, that you can like go ahead and get that narrowed down a little bit depending on the picture. You can do more with some than others, but that helps.
By the way, I just want to remind everyone who's listening right now of an adage that is helpful, and that is imperfect action is always going to beat perfect inaction. For all of you who are kind of going, how can I just perfect my reels? How can I spend the next 3 months watching what everyone else is doing before I start to incorporate the fact that Brenda just started posting a reel a day? That's not what we're saying. Don't worry about the apps, just start making something.
Yes, good point, because I didn't learn about all that stuff until after I was doing them. That's how I learned it, because I did it.
Exactly. Right? And we know faster implementation is key. Don't keep learning and not implementing. Okay, I want to open it up because we've got like just a little less than 10 minutes. If you've got a question, just unmute yourself and ask it.
Do you plan your content ahead of time, or is it kind of just spur of the moment? I have an idea.
So I don't plan. I've tried to follow Rebecca Folk's beautiful weekly and monthly planning, and it just, to me, it stressed me. So I decided anything that stresses me, I can't do until maybe someday I'll get to that point. That's my goal. It's my goal. But at this point, I'm just pulling from what comes to mind, and for the most part, it's worked out. Like, oh, I have an idea and I go grab the stuff and I put it together. But once in a while, when I feel dry, I do have a whole list of where I'm throwing ideas in my notes. I have saved posts in Facebook that I'll even pull stuff from sometimes. And then my saved reels. So literally some evenings I'm like, oh, I don't have a post ready for tomorrow or a reel ready for tomorrow. I'll just go scroll through all that stuff till the combo somehow inspires something for a reel. So just save the ideas, and you'll use them someday.
Brenda, I got a question. One, I'm just going to go ahead and ask how old you are, because I think there are some women that are going to watch this and go, oh, I'm too old for this. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So it took me forever to learn, Facebook or what. I can't learn this new Instagram. So I want to know your age, but then I also want to know what's your goal once you get, I know right now, you're getting so many new customers, but then what's your actual process from we're getting a new customer, which so many of us could probably go get a new Instagram person that we've never met before, we have no relationship with. And most of your business is built on relationship people, even if it was through homeschooling or a common denominator. How do you funnel them through to actually build new leaders from the customers that you're gaining right now?
Okay, so I'm 51. So yes, I'm one of those old dogs that's harder to learn new tricks. And that's why I put this off for so long. I thought it wasn't in my wheelhouse. Secondly, about getting customers. Yes, this is the fascinating thing. Before I did this, I was just kind of, putting my Facebook people kind of knew me, but Instagram people didn't. And I would try to reach out, and I literally every afternoon I would sit down with my list of 10 to 12 gals on Instagram that I kind of want to build a relationship with. And I would and I would engage, and and eventually I'd bring Plexus up. I usually had to be the one to bring Plexus up. And I maybe got 2 customers out of 3 years of doing that on Instagram. Okay, I might be exaggerating. Maybe there were more. It just felt like so few. It might have been 5 or 6. And it was always this pursuing and all this trying. Turns out I can flip that script. I am putting myself out there. They know me. They feel like they know me before they even message me, and they trust me, and they just do what I say to do because they feel like they know me and trust me, because I've been way more vulnerable than I really planned to be, because I know that's how people feel the connection. So they're my customers. So what I'm doing is this. I got this from Trisha Regger too. I put them in a monthly chat. So from about the first of the month through, somewhere around 25, 26, I sort of put my monthly people in there in that one chat. And then the end of the month, people go into my next month chat. Does that make sense? So I have this November chat going, I have this December chat going. And we're I engage every day. And we do fun stuff in there, like just tell us about each other, fun gifts, fun prizes for like, I put in a lot of good info too, like watch this video for what to expect, how to use the products. And when you've watched it, enter watch for a little giveaway, a little fun $10, $20 gift card. And so we're interacting. Then they kind of feel like they have support. And then every once in a while I ask, tell us your results. And then you guys, when you start people out on hunger control, black cherry lime, and you have a group of people, you're going to have good results. It's not like scary, like when you ask for results and they're like, oh, this isn't working. I'm having great results with all these people. And so where are we at? Oh, yes. Then of course, I'm inviting them to every Monday night on Instagram, I do a party, pink party. So it's for them to invite their potentials to, but at the end, they hear about the income. And then they hear about that. So I go over my customer chat. I'm like, hey guys, were you on there? Did you see how you could, share with 3 friends and earn money? And of course, when I send them my personal welcome message, when they first join, they hear about the referral link and the $400 and all that. But they're dripping every day. And they're hearing about the income opportunity. So in November, when I had 32 VIPs, I had 5 of them share. And to me, that's huge. That's huge. 5 people 1 month sharing. 2 went past our silver, and the others are working towards it for this month. I don't know. That to me is a great ratio. I was just thrilled. And so now I have a couple of them that are continuing on. And the one wants to go, Ruby is her goal, and the other one, gold, is her goal. And I believe they're going to do it because they're continuing to share on social media and stuff. They're doing the things. Oh, and then I moved those really working girls into a coaching chat. So then that's where I share a lot more business stuff every day. I'm kind of excited, as you can tell. It's fun.
Yeah, I was going to start typing the fact like the numbers there is such a huge thing for people to notice. Like 32 new customers, 5 people start sharing. So if you're adding 3 new customers, what is the likelihood that you're going to have 5 new people sharing? It's so low, but you are actually doing a hard, uncomfortable thing probably 3 months ago that now just feels totally normal and fun and exciting and probably energizing every day. But it's when you can get to the point where can some of y'all imagine adding 32 new VIPs in a month, let alone having 5 new sharers? Like what, just like, let's just add up points right there. Like 32 times 6 points a person, but then you have 5 level 1s that are also adding new level 2s, which are 5 points like the growth right there in some of y'all's businesses that are gold, senior gold, ruby, trying to re-rank or trying to get to that next rank you've never gotten to. That's where that switch is flipped for so many of y'all. Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm working in my reentry and I had reached senior ruby and I had a couple girls leave and just dropped all their people on me who are complete strangers. And so that leg really fell down to senior gold. And so I was sitting there, well, it was between senior gold and ruby. I guess I don't know if I ever quite hit senior gold, but it wasn't ruby anymore even. I went back to ruby and beyond, and with just in 2 months. And I just told Delvin the other day, guess what? I earned an extra 2,000 on my reentry. $2,000 in 2 months. Guys, that is what I want you to hear. Like I felt like a senior gold. Like I had my diamond story, but my reentry, I kind of even forgot to mention that in my original. That was part of my motivation. Like I'm sitting here at senior gold forever. I want to get back to senior ruby and go all the way to emerald. So you guys can do it.
I love it. I want to keep you on time because I know your family's walking in the door, but thank you, Brenda. Guys, we're going to keep meeting and we're going to let Brenda go get some Christmas family time. We love you, Brenda. Listen, like it's so inspiring to me personally. I appreciate it. So thanks for being willing to hop on and chat with us.
You're so welcome. It was an honor.
We'll see you later. Give your family our love.
I will.
Okay. One of the biggest things I want you guys to hear, because I know how your self-talk works. Okay. You're like, oh, she was already diamond, her husband's diamond. Do you really do you hear that? This is someone who had less than 3,000 followers. She's 51. She's a grandmother. Yes, she's had success, but do you know what she had not had success in? Building on Instagram. Okay. So raise your hand if any of you would like to grow so that you have a full funnel where you have people who are going into your IG, bio, they're clicking your link and they're joining you. Would you like to have that happen? But are you willing to do things like post a reel a day? By the way, do you realize that posting a reel a day, if that was the only thing you did for the next 30 days, you would work on average about 20 minutes a day? Okay. So the big question is, and this is something I've really even been asking myself lately, like, do you really want to grow? Do you want to grow? Like, because I can tell you that you don't really want to grow if you show up on every call, but you don't implement action. If you don't do something that was recommended from the call. And I don't mean do it once, because boy, doing it once is a great way for you to go to your sponsor and be like, I'm doing everything. Yeah, but are you doing everything every day? Like, are you just staying consistent? Or does just once make you think, oh, I've done this, I've tried it, and it didn't work for me? I love Brenda's story because she was not doing a great job on Instagram. By the way, if you are killing it on Facebook, if you have just been focusing on Facebook and you are getting customers every week, I want to say, hey, like, great job. Great job. Stay focused. Keep growing there. I just want you to understand that if you really want to make money doing network marketing, then there is a whole other place called Instagram. And there's more places after that, you know, once you, but like, conquer one social media platform at a time. That's great. But don't not do Instagram because you're like, that just sounds kind of too scary and uncomfortable. Like, don't let that be the reason. Let it be because, oh, my business is blowing up on Facebook, I don't even have time to think about Instagram. If that's the case and you're developing silvers every month from Facebook, then great. I'm not going to try to tempt you. I'm going to say, hey, you keep doing that. But if you're not doing that, but you're using Facebook as this is where my business really is, then it's just because you don't really want to grow. Okay. That's my little sermonette. I've been asking myself all these hard questions too, but I love her story because it's such an example of it is possible to not be a marketing guru, to not be a social media guru, to really just be normal and to be consistently faithful because you know it's the thing you need to do, and to see your business have a whole new area of growth. I want to ask you guys, first of all, let me shift gears for just a minute. Have you checked your commissions from November? Okay. Whose checks went up? Tell us in the chat. Who grew your paycheck from October to November? Yep. Me personally. My husband's account. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys know why? Why'd your paychecks go up? You can unmute and chat with me. Who's there? I'm not gonna like burn you, I promise.
I think for me, mine went up because I did more one-on-one reach outs. I'm pretty consistent in social media. I was 50-50 on the reach outs, not necessarily doing it every day. But I really was doing it every day. And and also talking about the business. So now this month I have a few people where that's kind of starting to take place again. So
that's
just
awesome. Have any of your new people, Christy, gotten into the make $400 this week chat that we're doing on the table every week?
Yes, I've had 2 people in there. They've not gone silver yet, but they have. One of them, I want to send this recording because she's older. She's a grandma, she's in her 60s. The chat kind of overwhelmed her because at that point it was really busy. So I told her just get out. But the first one girl was younger and she's doing the things. So yeah.
So do you have 2 new people that are sharing?
Yes, and then I have a third one who just texted me and said she has a couple people. So possibly 3 now this month, hopefully, Lord willing.
Okay, so did you have, let's say, you know, at the beginning of November, did you have 3 people sharing the business?
No.
Okay, so what was the big difference then? Was it the reach outs?
It was the reach outs and talking more about the business from the front, from the get-go, telling them this is what it is, I think before I would tiptoe it, I'd be like, okay, this is what you can make, let me know.
P.S.
was
If you're interested.
Yeah, I was just more bold about it. And especially when we had the bonuses and all of this stuff, a lot of them, even like I reached out to people who like single moms. I'm like, I know this would be a huge blessing for you right now. Let me, we could figure that out. So I just was talking about it more and more boldly about it.
I love that. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited for you, honestly, because doesn't it give you energy to have people who are responding and sharing and participating? And
This is my favorite part, is having a team to actually help. I mean, I love the products and helping people with their products, but this is like my favorite part.
I 100% agree. Let me say this really quick, and then I'm going to let Andrea, I can tell Andrea wants to say something. That chat, okay, it happens in the table. So if you've heard about it, but you don't know what we're talking about, all you have to do is go to the table's homepage and you'll see where it says chat, and you can click there and you can join and just even silently follow along. The key to the chat is we aren't supposed to be like, it's a share your work chat. So every day there's a post from Andrea that explains, do this, like do exactly this. And then when your people who are participating, when they do it, they screenshot it back. That's just to help like us kind of, it's like a show your work, which by the way, if you have some in the chat, you need to be in the chat so that you can see what they're doing. So that, because Andrea doesn't need to be advising all these people all week long. Okay. But don't add extra stuff to the chat, because that is when it gets overwhelming. By the way, every Monday, Andrea, the whole chat gets wiped out and it gets redone. And she explains, like, here's what the chat is for. You got added to this chat because you asked to be added. And here's what it's going to look like. Don't share GIFs. Don't do thumbs up. Don't do the extra chatter, because that's too many notifications, like Christy's person that got overwhelmed. But that way you can explain to your person, like, hey, this is just a learn and share chat, and you're only in it for a week. So it might be a lot of notifications this week, but I promise it's here to help you make money. And then you can get pulled out of the chat and you can come back and work with your sponsor. So I feel like it's important for you guys to know that that is part of the system that we're using. Every Sunday night, there's the income call, right? Some of you guys have been on them for weeks in a row. You know exactly what we're talking about. And then they bring up the chat in the call. And then our chat is happening through our team page. It's really simple. It's on the table. And if you've got someone, you should follow along. Or if you're someone who's like, I need to go silver this week, jump in and participate. We've had people who are already silver, but they've been in that chat posting and sharing because they want to learn the basics. But you need to know what's happening. Otherwise, you don't really have a system for if someone is interested in earning money. Okay. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, Christy's doing all the right things in there. And the fact that Christy's showing up, she submits all of her show your work. She's showing her team members that are in there how to do it. But then she's also having conversations with them off the chat and saying, hey, do you have any problem? Do you have any questions about the post that you need to make today? Do you need me to pull? I mean, I'm just guessing based on what they're showing up with, that Christy's having the conversation on the backside, like, hey, do you want me to help you word that message, in your way? Do you want me to help you send that out? Oh, you need the link for this, here it is, or whatever. I think the couple of things that make your business grow in the chat is you showing up every day and actually doing your own work. And I think what also helps is then you have somewhere to put those people when those people come, kind of like what we're talking with Brenda. If I have new people coming in from Instagram and I can go, oh, we have this chat going on. If you need to do that chat on Instagram, just let me know. It's currently not being done on Instagram. It's just on Facebook, because we're doing it through the team page, and we're doing it through the team page so that people are added to the team page, because that's where business stuff happens, is on the table. So a lot of people will message and be like, I can't add my friend. It's because she's not on the table, which is our business page. And so you need to be on the table, and it actually gives everybody, an easy place to go find it. Everyone was getting lost when it was like just a regular chat we were making up and no one could find it in their chat folder. And this way, like if you go to the table Instagram page on your or Facebook page on your phone, Literally, it says reels, which I've never done a reel on here, and then chat. And Amber said she found it in community, and I think community, it was listed something different. So community chats here. So there's a couple of different places to find it. Or if you scroll and you go to this graphic, because I have to make these things every time. I think this time it's like a money bag or something for the chat. And so you can find it in the chat as well. I just want you to feel like you can go in. Every single leader listening on this should be submitting showing their work every single day, because it shows your team that you are showing up too. You're not just relying on them to build your check. Because I want to be really, really bold in saying, if you have team members in there and you're letting me or Becky or whomever do the work, and you're like, that's fine, Andrea's got it, you're letting me grow your check, and you're actually not showing up as a leader. So if you're on this call, I can boldly say you're probably not showing up as a leader if you have people that are doing that call and you are not actually doing, or that chat, and you are actually not doing it alongside them. I'm not asking you to add 3 new customers a week or add 32 new VIPs in a month. That's a lot. But I'm saying, are you showing up boldly so your team can see you? And then are you having offline messages with them as well? If Becky was my new VIP and I had her in that group, I'd want to be having a daily conversation of, hey, how did you feel about that post wording today? I didn't really like it, so that's why I haven't done it yet. Okay, great. Let's do our own. Let's create our own. But then I'm having a chat with her while still doing the track. So I just want to, Christy's doing it right. That's why she has 3 new growers, is because she's doing the work, she's putting the effort in, and she's helping them along the way. I mean, I know one of her girls has been in there, I think almost every week since she signed up, doing the work, and her going silver is the goal, but her getting really consistent with posting, with messaging, with making a list of people she wants to do this with, that grows her so big, so that as soon as the business connects for her people or for her, then she's already got the legwork done. I also want to really challenge y'all that, did you notice that Brenda said she started this back in September, doing the reels a day? It did not grow to 32 people the next week. It's 90 days now. If I think, is that correct? It's probably been October, November, 90 days since we've come back since she made this decision in Mexico. So that if you think about it, what you do now, starting doing 2 reels a day, value adding on social media from now, imagine like that's like February, March growth, which usually March, April are huge months for us as a company. Every single year, I have 10 years of growth mapped out, and March, April are huge months for us. What you start doing right today, December 11th, January 11th, February 11th, March 11th, could be I just added 32 VIPs last month. So I just want to challenge you to do it for 90 days without skipping a day. Like, could you imagine what it could do just for value add? Okay, that's my soapbox. I am now stepping off of.
Okay, so let me ask a question. I kind of want to like take a temperature of the room, but tell us in the chat, what's one part of your business that you're convicted that you need to grow in, but maybe you're struggling the most in that area? Okay, so really quickly, I can say that the biggest area I struggle is in new reach outs on Instagram. I'm comfortable having those conversations on Facebook, but sending the introduction and would love to talk with you if you're interested about earning income the way that I do, sending that message to people that I'm trying to work on building a relationship with on Instagram is the hardest. The other piece is truly, and this is a nod to Brenda, for me, I show up on social media, especially Instagram, frequently, like every day, but strategically posting once or twice on my grid, like that's where I'm struggling the most. And honestly, it's coming from me looking at what other people are doing. So tell me, where are you struggling? Andrea says customer service, checking. Oh God, amen. Sarah Byers says, sending messages on Instagram is hard too, wants to be more consistent. So like, this is where you call yourself out. If you can't tell us where you're struggling, then you're either too scared. Erin says posting outside of stories. Okay, so posting to grid. And Christy says, keeping her team accountable to goals. Yeah, you've got to identify your top areas where you need to grow. If you can't identify them, then you're probably not really trying to grow right now. Erin, yes, doing reels. Who else? I know we've got more people on this call. Tina says, sending the message to those that she's building the relationship with. Okay, so like, I want you to see that a lot of us are just struggling in similar areas, you know? And I would be curious if there's one thing Michelle says, talking about the business. Yes, getting outside of just signing customers, actually signing up people who want to earn money. Roxanne says, following up with customers that don't want a lot of messages, aren't on FB. Yeah, keeping them updated and seeing the value. I want you to know that where you focus on for the next 30 days is going to be what leads your business in January, like Andrea was talking about. So we are in a crazy season of Christmas. You know, you've got, like, if you're like me, you've got a whole list of to-dos that's going to keep running through the end of the new year. Amber says showing up every single day. Yes. But what I want to really encourage you in is I guarantee you're not on this call on Monday at 12:45 Central because you're bored. You're on it because you want to grow. You are tired of not growing. And until that desire to really grow, until you funnel it into some kind of daily activity, you are going to feel this kind of guilty, lackluster, frustrated, imposter feeling that you keep feeling. And you don't have to feel that way, but you do have to grow. And this is the time to do it. Like, yes, December is absolutely crazy. It's like May is crazy, but are you kidding me? My business sees such growth in May every year. So I want you guys on. If you can't identify the thing that you need to do, like if you don't know immediately, this is what I need to do, and I'm not doing it, I'm going to accuse you of faking it. I think you're faking. I think you actually know what you need to do. And you don't want to say what it is, or you're avoiding looking at it because you just don't want to feel maybe the anxiety, or maybe it's guilt, or whatever it is, whatever that emotion is that you're avoiding. Maybe it's fear. When you actually identify, like, here's where I'm struggling. Because if you know where you're struggling, you probably know an antidote to it. You've heard us talk about going after business builders. You've heard us talk about that for years now, but you keep going after customers. And so you keep ending up with people who you feel you might add 3 people to your team, but the next month you've got, because of your customer care or because you're not helping people earn a paycheck, you've got people dropping off. So you've got a bathtub plug that is just draining, and you're wearing yourself out because you're actually afraid of taking yourself on. So that's my encouragement, is like, get really clear on the ways that you are resisting growth in your business. You've got to be the one that hugs the cactus and identifies it. It's not up to your sponsor to do that. If you can't figure that out on your own, like, truly, you might be in an area where you're like, okay, I know what I'm not doing, but I'm so baffled by what I am doing and why it's not working. I get that. And I, like, hear me say, as a diamond, I go to Andrea and I'm like, what is happening? And she'll be like, well, it's this and that. And I'm like, you're right. So sometimes it does take input from an upline, who says, hey, send me your messages, screenshot what you're messaging people, and let's see if that's actually like a good message. Or let me take a look at your social media and see what you're actually putting out there. Or do you have a clear strategy every day for talking to your customers? Do you know what funnels to put your customers into? Do they go into business building work, or do they go into just customer care? Like, I get it. Sometimes you really do need help, but I would say that most of us know the big thing we need to do, and we're just not doing it. Like, we're avoiding it for some reason. And if you're like me, you might be really good at staying busy and looking like you're doing all the things, like, I'm so good at training. Look at me. I can't shut up on this call. Guess what? This actually does not grow my personal business. Like, I love y'all. And I did this for years. I distracted myself with training so that I would, feel like, well, I'm doing so much, but like, I wasn't recruiting, and I sure was only recruiting customers. I wasn't building new leaders. So I share all this just because like it's the end of the year and we got to take some ground. We had such a great month. One of the things that Andrea and I did, we really wanted to do last month is that we realized how helpful it is to share with you and your customers story graphics. So we try to share those every day, every other day, every 3 days or so. We will put out like, hey, share this. If you take those, but you don't ever share them with your customers, like, hey, do you know if you share these slides in your stories, you could probably get a new customer yourself. You're being a little selfish. You need to learn how to empower your VIPs to grow. If you hop on every team call, but you never invite someone to be on, that's some selfishness. And it might be that it's like you're not a selfish person, but maybe you are scared to get into really inviting people. And like Christy said, being bold with telling her people, do this, do exactly this. But the truth is that most people need to be told exactly what to do. Okay. So we've been trying to help, put those story graphics in your hand, make it simple. But what we can't do is we cannot make you become a leader. That's completely on you. And if you desire to be a leader and you've got like leadership traits in you that you're like, I want to have a team, I want to share. Christy was talking about there's nothing worse than when you've got like this leadership desire, but no one's responding and it's crickets. I promise it's not you. You got to go find new people. It's them. But it is you if you've got those leadership things, but you're not actually going and finding new people to lead. Does that make sense? It's like you've got a lot of great qualities of leadership. Go find the people that actually want to be led and then be bold in how you lead them. Okay. Any questions before we close it up for the day? Because I mean, like, this is the time. Andrea and I would love, or either us or other people on this call can help answer your questions. As far as rest of the month, guys, be patient with Andrea and I because we know that we have not put out a December calendar. We're aware. It's totally on us. 11 out of 12 months is not bad, guys.
I mean, they've been so great. There's other 11 months though. Mainly the reason we haven't put out a December calendar is because we do Masterclass every Monday, which at this point, y'all know. We are planning on doing another multi-team Zoom power hour at the end of the month between Christmas and New Year's, but we haven't nailed down quite who all wants to do that with us, how it's going to run. I tend to micromanage. And so if I don't know exactly what I want to do, I don't either boldly just go with the thought, or I hold on to it until I have all the details figured out. So, and then we actually have another event, Becky and I we needed to get through November. Did anyone else just need to get through November and feel like November it was so great. When Christy said something about, I was sharing with the double bonus. And I was like, corporate gave you something to be bold about. I don't want y'all to stop being bold because you don't feel like what you have is still really, really valuable. So you should still be being really bold about that 20% on brand new orders, all the things going on. So there's so much happening right now with with perks, not Plexus perks, but like perks in the whole company that I honestly can't even wrap my brain around it yet. I know we have Give 10. I know it's still $1 memberships until the 15th. And so you have 4 more days on that. If that doesn't give you like a sense of like, okay, I've got to get back into my messages with all of my people on the fence, because really what they're doing with Give 10 is you're getting like $9 to $10 off on your actual order. Still right now, it's still free balance and free sleep. Don't forget, with an order of anything, I think it's over $100 with balance. So whether that's in a sub, whether that's a reset triplex combo, all of those things, that reset triplex combo is discounted from, do y'all remember when reset came out? It was $189 retail. Right now we're getting it like with triplex for, I think, less than that. So it's kind of incredible. the value that we're getting. So don't let, oh, but it was not as great as November. Oh, that's okay. We still have so much great stuff going in December. What a neat thread that I saw on Diamonds today was that who all signed up in December. Y'all, Whitney War signed up in December. Like all these diamonds that are top level diamonds, 3, 4, 5-star diamonds signed up in December. So if you have told yourself that nobody signs up, everyone's busy, there's too many parties going on, no one wants to reset, everyone will wait until January or after Christmas to sign up, all the work you do right now is triggering all of those, that activity. So if you're telling yourself no one's signing up till after Christmas, all the work you do from now until the 26th will guarantee that you are on someone's thoughts and minds when they're like, okay, it's after Christmas. I need to sign up for that weight loss thing, that 3-day thing that you have, that thing you've been talking about all month. Okay, now I'm ready. But if you wait until after Christmas to start posting, you're already, number 5 on the list of things people are going to be checking in with. So, that's probably more than what Becky was actually asking, but those are all my thoughts for the end of the month, or it's December 11th, y'all. There's so much going on right now. I would love to have like a commitment from each other that we're going to do a reel a day and that we're going to have somewhere where we're like, done. I did my reel. So maybe we'll do just a thread on the table where you just every day drop your, you're done. Yeah, Becky already got today's done. I saw it. It's so cute. And it's talking about girls and their skincare and how much money it's going to cost these moms that are spending, I think, $4,000 at Sephora trying to get 11-year-olds their, wrinkle cream. So I think
maybe we start like a social media challenge on the table, like just one post too, because I will tell you guys this, by the way, you will start to see, especially if you're doing this on Instagram, although Facebook probably does it too, you will start to have it show up in your feed, like videos that give you tips. And that's been a game changer for me. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to do this tip. I'm going to implement right now. And you will find that you start off shaky? Yes, absolutely. Do you think Brenda's first reel was good? No, it was not. But you will also start to realize that you don't care so much and that you are growing every day as you force yourself to do this. It's like lifting weights. Like you're going to look up in a month and be like, whoa, I was just able to throw up a bar full of weights that I couldn't even get off the ground a month ago. So you will grow as you push yourself to do something new. So maybe we start a thread where we can like tell each other little tips and tricks.
I love it. Becky just threw in her CrossFit analogy.
I did. I had to, because listen, I've been working on it all year.
She's been doing such a great job. Okay, y'all, I'm excited. I think like, let's just show up, because I think the more we show up for each other, the more we're like, oh yeah, Becky did it and it wasn't that pretty. I can do an ugly one. I promise you Becky's are prettier than Andrea's. No. So just go ahead and check that out. But I want you to show up. I want to see you showing up boldly for your own business, not for us, not for a chat, not for a thread, because it will change your business. You need to show up. So those are my final thoughts. We will talk to you later.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.